Good afternoon. I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now. Several groups will be staging protests at the inauguration of President-elect Bongbong Marcos tomorrow. Let's get some details from JC Cosico, who's joining us live from Quezon City. Hi, JC. Are these groups all set for their protest actions, and have they already secured the appropriate permits for their activities?
Sean Group says there are no stopping as they stage militant or protest actions tomorrow, the Marcos inaugural. Now, the Philippine National Police earlier said that no permits were filed in LGUs. That's why these protest actions will only be allowed to be staged in freedom parks, just like the Liwasa Bonifacio, the Plaza Miranda, the Plaza Moriones, and the Plaza Dilao. Sean.
All right, JC, do we have an estimate of how many people are expected to participate in tomorrow's rallies?
Sean, we have no count yet or estimate as to the number of individuals joining the rallies tomorrow, but definitely these individuals will come from different sectors: the youth, the women, the transportation sector, and most of them will converge at the Liwasang Bonifacio. Sean.
All right, and usually, JC, what we see in these kinds of protests are effigies being burned, lots of, big tarpaulins or posters. Will there be an effigy tomorrow? Can we expect one?
Sean, according to the group of Panday Sining, there will be no effigies or there will be no burning of effigies expected during the protest actions tomorrow. But they prepared this protest art called the Coffin of Democracy, which they say symbolizes the death of democracy given the return of a Marcos and Duterte in Malacanang. Now, definitely there will also be statements online, but according to them, many of their members will be out on the streets tomorrow. Sean.
All right, and what issues can we expect of these groups to be highlighting tomorrow?
Sean, among the issues that we are expecting for these groups to raise tomorrow include the rising prices of basic commodities and fuel, and also PBBM's earlier plan to slash prices of rice to just 20 pesos per kilo. Sean.
All right, thank you so much for those updates. JC Cosico reporting to us live from Quezon City. In other news, the Securities and Exchange Commission has affirmed its decision to revoke Rappler's corporate registration. Back in 2018, the SEC found the media company liable for violating the restrictions on foreign ownership. This comes after Rappler issued Philippine Depository Receipts, or PDRs, a form of financial instrument to a foreign entity. Rappler CEO Maria Ressa said they will continue to operate pending a court approval on the company's shutdown. Ressa added that they will appeal the SEC decision and bring it all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary.
We continue to work. It is business as usual. We will follow the legal there is a process, and we'll follow the legal process. We'll continue to stand up for our rights.
One News Now will be back with more stories after this quick break. Keep it here. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Several high-ranking officials of the Bureau of Customs and the Agriculture Department are being linked to large-scale smuggling of agricultural products. Juan Gualvez with the report.
In a list that Senate President Tito Soto to President-elect Ferdinand Marcos Jr., 22 names were identified as either suspected smugglers of agricultural products or protectors.
Huwag kang magtira doon sa ulo. Lahat. Kung maaari, from the secretary down to the ASIC.
The list included 10 government officials headed by Customs Commissioner Ray Leonardo Guerrero and other high-ranking officials of the Agriculture Department, Plant Industry Bureau, and Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. DA Undersecretary Ariel Cayanan was surprised that he got implicated. He claimed that he has been staunchly advocating against smuggling in the agency.
Hindi niyo pong ipagtanong sa mga magsisibuyas na Nueva Ecija, San Jose Mindoro, ako po ang kanilang takbuhan at kandungan every time po na magkakaproblema po sila.
BFAR meanwhile absolved National Director Gongona. The agency said that it was in fact Gongona who instituted reforms against corruption in the agency. Navotas Mayor Toby Chanco also denied being a protector. He clarified that it was he who reported the smuggling and diversion of imported fish to the DA. Aside from the Navotas Mayor, also in the list of alleged protectors is a certain Mayor Jun Diamante, who is supposedly in charge of product smuggling in the ports of Davao, Cagayan de Oro, Cebu, and Subic. Also implicated is a certain Jerry Teves, who is allegedly operating other major ports. As for Samang Industriya and Agrikultura or SINAG, they are not surprised that government officials are among those involved in agri-smuggling.
Hindi naman magagawa yan kung wala silang cohort, wala silang kakutsaba sa mga ahensyang to.
Malacanang meanwhile said they are one with the Senate in the campaign against corruption. They added that necessary charges have to be filed before the Ombudsman so that the implicated will also be given due process. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
And speaking of the Agriculture Department, it is also busy with the transition to the next administration. Let's get some updates from Shyla Francisco, who joins us live now from Quezon City. Shyla, hi, good afternoon. Is this issue on smuggling, blew up right before President-elect Marcos takes over both as president and as the head of the DA? What is the plan? Are they going to leave it to the incoming president to handle this issue?
Sean, the DA is taking note of the result of the investigation by the Senate, since they are also doing their own investigation. Their probe will focus more on the administrative purposes, so they are leaving it up to the proper courts and proper investigation bodies to handle that. Although they confirmed that the list they have is more or less similar with the list that the Senate has, and it also involves smuggling within the Bureau of Animal Industry regarding the palm oil smuggling used for feeds. They will be submitting their report, including the transition report, when they meet with the upcoming administration. Sean?
All right, and what would be Secretary William Dar's recommendations for Marcos Jr. and the incoming team over at the DA?
Sean, they have a long list of recommendations, but much of the urgent recommendations involve solving the food crisis. Yusek Fermin Adriano earlier said that one of the urgent recommendations is to lower tariff and allow importation, since it will take time for the country to be productive to meet the needs of the people. They are urging, specifically for rice, they want the NFA and the LGU to each stockpile 30 days worth of buffer stock. They also want to strengthen a relationship with the ASEAN countries, some of which are our suppliers, and also improve bilateral agreements so as to improve or to ensure a food supply, especially amid countries implementing export ban. Sean?
Right, so has the DA specified which items should be prioritized for importation?
Sean, Sean, well, for one, rice is among the commodities they are recommending to have importations. They said that the production of rice has gone down because of high fertilizer prices. Earlier during the press con, they mentioned that around 500,000 metric tons of rice imports could be enough, but it will still depend on the needs and the demands of the country by the second half of the year. They also mentioned that there will be a shortage of sugar, specifically raw sugar will last until August 4 and refined sugar by July 29. Although they are unclear, the officials are unclear whether to recommend importation for sugars. They said they are leaving it up to the next administration to decide on that. Sean?
All right, so it's not just sugar, right? We're experiencing all sorts of price increases and supply tightening with other food products that we consider basic as well. The latest, of course, apart from potatoes and meat, chicken prices are also going up along with other food products, of course. Is the DA seeing any other threats to the poultry industry? I think it was your report, Shyla, that mentioned that it's expensive feeds also hitting the chicken as well as the fishery sector.
Yes, Sean, aside from high cost of inputs and the bird flu incidents, unfortunately, there is another threat to the poultry industry, and that is inclusion body hepatitis, or IBH. The DA confirmed cases of this, although they weren't saying where they have cases of IBH in the country. The disease causes mortality and could affect supply. It doesn't spread to humans, although the symptoms are similar to that of bird flu. While there are previous cases of IBH in the Philippines, they said they are seeing much more cases now, which concern some officials and some of the private sector. And the good thing is that we have, or the world already has vaccines for this, so the DA issued special import permit for vaccines to support the disease prevention for that, to avoid affecting the supply of poultry. Sean?
Right, but would these vaccines, Shyla, increase the price also of available chicken supply in the market?
Sean, as of now, there are no signs saying that this will affect the prices of chicken in the market. The focus now is really to ensure supply to avoid the increase in markets. Sean?
All right, thank you so much for those updates. Shyla Francisco reporting to us live from Quezon City. Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. The National Telecommunications Commission is limiting block time deals among all radio and TV broadcast stations, a move that coincides with reported merger talks between ABS-CBN and TV5. The NTC said in a memorandum that block time agreements should not exceed 50% of the daily airtime of radio and TV stations. The Health Department is urging the Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines, or PHAPI, to coordinate with them regarding healthcare workers' COVID allowances. The DOH says the release of funds for the COVID allowance is being delayed because some private hospitals have not yet submitted the necessary requirements. And in the weather, monsoon rains are expected over the western sections of Luzon and the Visayas as Tropical Depression Kaloy enhances the effect of the southwest monsoon, or habagat. Kaloy is expected to exit the Philippine area of responsibility within 24 hours. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.